All right, all right. Hello, happy Sunday evening. Thank you for joining me. Um, yes, I appreciate you being here today. I know it's Sunday. I know you have some preparing to do to get ready to have a successful week. So, I want to thank you for taking some time to come join me and learn a little bit about mortgage note investing today. Okay. So as we get started, I have a few questions just to kind of get to know you guys a little better and frame the conversation that we're about to have today. Because as you can see from our title slide, we're here to talk about mortgage note investing, but what we're really here to talk about today is freedom, right? That's why we invest, regardless of what it is we're investing in, is we want freedom, we want more control over our time and our lives and our money, and that's why we're here. So first question being, what would you do if you could use your time however you saw fit? So imagine all your bills are paid, all your responsibilities are taken care of. You don't have to worry about any of that. You know, everything is taken care of, and you can use your time to do whatever you want to do. Would you take a class? Would you travel more? Spend some more time with family? I mean, how would you spend your time if you knew that everything that you had to take care of was already accounted for? Okay, you can go ahead and drop your answers in the chat. Okay, and I will shout those out as they come in. We are live, and there's a bit of a delay, so please forgive me if I'm moving too fast at all. Tell me to slow down. If I need to go back over anything, I'm happy to do that. But as you answer that question, here's the second one. What if you knew that you were getting paid every month to live the life that you enjoy, right? So you knew that every month you can check your direct deposit, check your bank account, and you know that the money is going to be in there to take care of your responsibilities, and you're being paid every month to just live life. How would you feel? How would you feel? Would you be excited? Would you feel relaxed? Would you feel, I don't know. How would you feel if you knew that every month you would check your account and you were already taken care of, right? Then the third question is, what if I told you that this wasn't just a what if, right? What if I told you that not only is this possible, but it's really not that complicated and it's not as far away as you may think it is? Okay, and that's what we're going to dive into today. Okay, so go ahead and drop those answers in the chat. Okay, because again, we're here to talk about freedom, right? And the key to a free life ultimately is passive income, right? When we no longer have to exchange time for money, right? We no longer have to clock in and spend our valuable hours, clocking in for someone else. We're able to pursue passions, right? We're able to spend our time with people that we love, doing things that we love to do, right? And that's what it's all about. And so my goal here today is to give you some perspective on an avenue to be able to do that, to be able to create that freedom for yourself and for others, right? Very good. So as we get going, my name is Brian Royster. I am a professional note investor. I am the founder of Note Genius. Okay. What I do is I buy predictable cash flowing assets. These assets are secured by real physical property, and they generate this passive income that will allow you to answer those questions in the previous slide, right? They generate the passive income that allows us to live that free life that we're all after, that we're all looking for. But more importantly, is that I share these opportunities with people like yourselves, right? I truly believe that there's no point in me knowing how to analyze these deals and go ahead and do these deals and earn this income if I cannot create this opportunity for others, right? The freer that each one of us are, the more impact that we can make in the world, the more impact that we can make in our lives and for our families and all. And so that's something that's very important to me, and I want to share these opportunities with you all. Okay. So as we get started, again, we're here to talk about mortgage note investing, which is a niche of real estate investing that people are kind of unfamiliar with, right? Most of us have heard at some point that real estate investing is considered to be probably the most efficient or the most well-known way to build wealth over time, right? It's been that way since the beginning of time. Whoever owns the land, whoever owns the property is likely to be some sort of wealthy, right, at some point. But the thing about real estate investing is that it comes with some headaches and some stressors that beginners are unaware of, and that experienced investors just get tired of after a while, right? whether that's dealing with tenants, vacancies, people destroying your property. Even if you're a wholesaler or a flipper and you got to hustle really hard to find those deals and outbid all the other wholesalers and flippers, and you chase down your contractors, and there's a lot of work that goes into this stuff. So what I want to talk about today is offering you a shift in perspective, right? That maybe allows you to take advantage of the benefits of real estate investing without dealing with those headaches, right? And so we want to start here with this concept of being the bank and not the landlord. Okay, so how do banks make their money? Okay, banks make their money not through investing, right? Not through investing in stocks and real estate and commodities, right? Not that they don't do these things at all, but this is not the bread and butter of the banking business, right? The bread and butter of the banking business is lending. Banks make their money through lending, right? Whether that's personal loans, home loans, car loans, business loans, whatever the case may be. Banks give out money to borrowers, and they earn income on the interest that gets paid back every month, right? So why do they do that? Okay. First and foremost, banks earn passive monthly cash flow through these loans, right? Think about it this way. Every loan that a bank gives out is a new passive income stream, okay? Ideally, these borrowers are sticking to their agreements and they're paying back their loans as agreed over the course of several years, and that is a huge cash flow generating vehicle, okay? The second thing is security through collateral, and this particularly pertains to home loans, car loans, business loans. The banks know that in the event that the borrower does default and they can't keep up with their payments, that there is valuable collateral that is tied to the loan to make sure that they're able to recoup their investment, right, and able to get their money back. Okay, so they're comfortable giving out tens of thousands to millions of dollars, right, because they know that there is security on the back end. And the third thing is control over ownership. No one calls the bank and says, hey, my neighbors won't be quiet, or my toilet is busted, or the roof is leaking, right? That's not the bank's problem. Okay, the bank has control over properties because they own the loan that is collateralized by a property, but they don't have to deal with property owner issues. And that is really the bottom line of what we're here to talk about and what we're here to get to, right? Ultimately, in the note investing space, we say own the paper and not the property, right? That's what it's all about. Okay. So what is note investing? Okay. Again, as I said, when someone comes into a bank and says, hey, I have this home that I want to purchase, I have X amount to put down as a down payment, but I need the rest of the capital, the rest of the funds to complete my purchase. Okay, so what they'll do is they will draft up a mortgage note agreement. They'll draft up an agreement that establishes the monthly payment amounts, the interest rate, the term of the loan, what happens if the loan goes into default, right? And they will issue this loan to the borrower, right? Most mortgage loans are 15 to 30 years. I know I have 20 to 30 years here, but you can get a 15-year mortgage, right? And again, the what makes it particularly valuable is that the loan is collateralized by the property in the event that the borrower can no longer pay. Okay? Well, what ends up happening eventually is that the bank wants to go make more moves, right? They either want to invest in a big project or they want to recapitalize, so maybe they can give out loans at a higher interest rate, right? And so what they'll do is they will sell off some of these old mortgages, okay, in order to receive the lump sum up front versus the full value of what they would collect on the interest over several years, right? And when they do this, note investors like myself come in and say, okay, I'll buy that note from you, but I'll buy it at a discount. So if there's $100,000 left on it, I'll buy it for $90K or $80K, right? So we're creating a spread there. But not only that, we become the new recipients of the monthly payment. So we replace the bank as the lender. Okay, we now own that mortgage, we now own that note, and we now earn the passive income that is generated from the interest of the homeowner's monthly payments. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward concept, pretty straightforward approach. But this is the gist of how mortgage note investing works. Okay. Now, to those of us in the know and those of us who are being introduced, note investing is considered to be the best kept secret in real estate. And why is that? That is because it is the only vehicle that I can think of that offers all four of these following elements that I'm about to go over in a single investment strategy, right? First of which being low risk. Each note, again, is secured by physical assets, by physical property. Okay. So the point of this collateral is to protect your investment, right? So if you go ahead and you put tens of thousands of dollars up to buy a mortgage note, you want to know that if the borrower stops paying, that you don't just lose out on all that money. Well, by having the property as collateral, that ensures that you will receive, or you can foreclose and receive, a valuable asset that's usually worth significantly more than the loan itself, to protect your capital and recoup your investment in that event. Okay. The second thing is predictable income. Okay. Mortgage notes are contractual agreements. The terms are already set, right? So you already know how much you're supposed to earn a month, how long the borrower is going to be paying, what the interest rate is. All of these things are already predetermined when you buy the note. Okay. And the benefit of this is that there is less likelihood to be affected by external events, right? When you invest in market-driven assets like traditional real estate or like the stock market, right? There are a lot of factors that are outside of an investor's control that can significantly impact their returns, right? If the market's good, then great. But if the market goes down, your money's likely going down too. And that is very stressful for a lot of investors, right? So by investing in predetermined contractual agreements, you relieve that weight from your investment strategy, right? The third thing is outsized returns. Okay. Again, when we buy these mortgage notes, when we invest in these notes, we are doing so at a discount. Okay. And by doing so at a discount, we are creating a larger spread. We are creating larger returns per investment, right? So your typical, say, stock market account is returning 6 to 8% on average, right? Which is good, but again, it comes with that risk that might not make it as worth it, right? Versus a note where you can buy it at a discount and you can see larger returns. It's not unheard of to see 8, 10, 12, 15% returns on these notes, paired with the predictability of the contract, paired with the security of the collateral property, right? That makes note investing a lot more appealing, in my opinion, than some of these other strategies. Okay. And then, of course, the final thing is the passive cash flow. That's what we're all here for, right? At the end of the day, we don't want to continue to exchange our time for money. Okay. And not only that, we want our passive cash flow to actually be passive, right? When we're talking about owning real estate or being a landlord, we receive monthly payments every month, but that's not passive. You have to deal with tenants. You have to deal with upkeep of your property, right? There's a lot of elements to property ownership that is not as passive as people make it seem. Okay. And with mortgage notes, it's a lot more hands off. It's a lot less management, right? And this allows you to navigate differently, right? You can supplement your lifestyle with this passive cash flow. You can replace your active income with it if that's what you really want to do, right? You could take these monthly payments and stack them up for a trip or to build your savings or to build your retirement account, right? This passive cash flow gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of optionality with how you choose to apply it to your life. Okay? So I hope all this makes sense. What I want to do now is I want to give you a case study so that we can kind of apply this concept to some numbers and you can see how note investing works out. Okay. So let's say we have a property here that's valued at $142,000. The note on the property has a remaining balance of $108,000 at an 8% interest rate. And there's 15 years left, which means there's 180 payments remaining on this note. Okay. The monthly payment amount is just over $1,000. Now I'm going to speak in round numbers here just for the sake of simplicity, but you can see the actual values on the screen, right? So your monthly payment's just over $1,000, and the bank says, we're happy with the returns we've received on this note so far, but we want to recapitalize. We want the lump sum, right? And so we're going to go ahead and sell this note for $89,000. All right. So you being the savvy investor you are, you say, okay, I'll take that. I'll buy this note at $89,000, right? So I'm already creating a discount of $19K because the note balance is $108. Your investment amount is $89, and your investment is secured by a $142,000 property. So do we see how that works? Do we see where the collateral comes in for security? Okay. So what we're doing right here is we're immediately creating equity off the buy, right? As soon as we buy it, we've made money because we have higher value in the note than we paid, right? But again, what we're here to do is earn monthly income, right? We want passive income. We want this note to continue paying us. So how does that work after we buy it? Well, that leads me to my next point, okay? Note investing is investing. And every investment strategy carries risk. Okay, I'm not here to tell you that this is some magical play that you'll never lose, and it's guaranteed money, and that's just dishonest. And I'm not here to tell you that. But what I am here to tell you is that when you can prepare for any outcome, okay, it makes your investment strategy a lot more viable. It makes you, or rather, it gives you the ability to breathe a lot easier, knowing that, hey, only one of three things is going to happen, and I know what to do in any situation, okay? So note investing has three possible outcomes, okay? The first outcome is pay as agreed. So your borrower makes regular monthly payments in accordance with the note agreement. They understand what they signed up for. They have the income to support it. Every month they're making their monthly payment to you. You're checking your account. You see it's been made, and you go on about your day, okay? And that's an ideal situation, right? The second scenario is early payoff, okay? So say you're collecting payments for a few years and the borrower decides to refinance or sell the property, right? And in order to be free and clear of your mortgage, of your loan, they have to pay off the rest of that balance, okay? So they take whatever they made from the sale or a portion of what they received from the refinance, they finish paying off of you, finish paying off your balance, and now you've received your total payout earlier than expected, which is nice. Okay, and you can move on into the next opportunity. And then the third and final outcome is that the borrower defaults on the loan and you have to claim the property as collateral. Okay, and this option kind of scares some people, but it's okay. We're gonna go over how all of these scenarios work, and you'll see that it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. In fact, this here scenario could turn out to be your most profitable. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply these three scenarios to some numbers, and we'll see how each one of them works. So the first outcome, of course, is pay as agreed. All right, as we said, your borrower knows what they signed up for. They have the income to support it, and they're making their regular monthly payments without having to be contacted, without having to be told. Right. So you're collecting your 1032 a month for the remaining term of 180 months for the remaining 15 years, right? And at the end of that term, your $89,000 investment turns into just shy of $186,000, okay? When you subtract your investment amount from your return, you're looking at an 11.37% return per year, okay? So this is great. This is off to a great start. We're talking double-digit returns right out the gate. And we're in good shape. We're in good position so far. The second outcome is early payment or early payoff, right? So let's say you've been collecting your monthly payments for 5 years and your borrower says, you know, I think we're ready to move. Maybe the kids are out the house or they just want to change the scenery, right? And so they're going to go ahead and sell the property and move elsewhere. What does that mean for your investment? Okay. This means that, and you'll have to excuse me for 1 second. My laptop is about to die. Give me 2 seconds. All right. Whew. Okay, pardon me for being unprepared for that. But yeah, so what does this mean for your investment, right? Well, you've collected 5 years of payments already. Okay, so you've collected your 1032 for 60 months, which is just shy of $62,000 in passive cash flow. Okay, but if you've ever paid down any sort of loan at all, you know that part of your monthly payment goes to principal, part of your monthly payment goes to interest. So even though you've already collected $62,000 in passive cash flow, your loan balance has only gone down by about $23,000, right? So you're still owed $85K on this note. All right. So when your borrower sells the home and receives whatever balance they were able to receive, right? They still have to pay off that 85K before they're free and clear of your mortgage. So when you add your 62K to your 85K, you're looking at a total collected of just shy of $147,000. Okay. And then again, you subtract your investment amount, your 89K, from your total collected. And you're looking at a profit of about $58,000 in 5 years. Okay, which works out to about a 13.29% annual return. All right. If you recall from the first stage, from the first outcome, we're looking at 11%. Now we're looking at 13%. So we're trending in the right direction. And that's what we want. So let's keep going. All right. This is the scary one. Outcome number 3, borrower fails to pay. Sometimes life happens, and people end up in situations that make it tough to keep up with their mortgage payments. And that's just a fact of life, unfortunately. But let's say you've been collecting payments for that same 5 years, and then your borrower's divorced and can no longer afford to make these payments on the home. Well, in this case, you would be required to claim the property as collateral in order to recoup your investment. Now, let me pause here and say that as note investors, we're not jerks. We're not here to kick people out of their homes. That's not what we want to do, okay? In fact, it's one of my favorite things about note investing is that we can relate to borrowers on a much more personal level than, say, an institution would, right? A bank is going to be like, I don't care what's going on in your life. Pay us or give us your house, right? Whereas note investors, we have other options before foreclosure to maybe work things out with the borrower, whether that's cash for keys, right? Okay, it would cost me X amount to go through the full foreclosure process. How about I pay you, a certain percentage or a certain amount to sign the property over free and clear, no eviction on your record, no foreclosure on your record. You can start free and clear somewhere else. Okay. Maybe the homeowner passed away and their kids don't want it. They don't want to deal with the property. They don't want to deal with the loan, right? They can do what's called a deed in lieu where, hey, you can go ahead and sign the property over free and clear. You will be absolved of this loan. You can go on and live your life and move on. To a lot of people, that's a huge relief. Okay. So there are other options other than foreclosure, but ultimately it does come down to having to claim that property and be able to recoup your investment. So once you claim the property, you can do anything you want with it. You can sell it, you can rent it. If you love it that much, move into it. But we're typically going to choose to sell so that we can get our money out and go ahead and move on to the next investment, right? So let's say we do that and we sell the property for $142,000. Now, keep in mind, it's been 5 years, so there's a good chance that the property has appreciated past 142 at this point. But this is the amount we started with, so we're going to stick with that for now. Okay, so we received $142,000 from our sale. We've already collected 5 years of monthly payments, so that's our $62K that we know we already received. We're going to subtract about $13,000 for our legal fees because we had to go through the foreclosure process. We hired a realtor to help us get this property sold, so we're going to subtract some of that from expenses. And after all that, we're looking at a total of just shy of $191,000. Okay? Again, subtracting your amount invested from the income earned, you're looking at a total profit of just shy of $102,000. You'll see that the profit says 72 months. We're going to assume that the foreclosure and sale process took another 12 months. But for me personally, I'm willing to wait an extra 12 months for a 6-figure return, right? I assume you would be too. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, in the chat if I'm wrong. But I'm willing to be patient for that, right? But as you can see here, in this scenario, our annual return is 15.84%. Okay, so hear me out. When we got paid as agreed and everything went as expected, we received a nice 11.37% return. When we got a gift and got paid off early, we received a 13.29% return. Okay, and when the borrower failed to pay and we got inconvenienced and had to do a little extra work to resolve the issue, we got our highest return of 15.84%. So this is what I mean when I say note investing makes it difficult to lose, okay? If you can account for these 3 outcomes, you know what you're going to receive, and each outcome has a different impact on your total return, okay? So I hope you're following along. Again, if I'm going too fast, or if you need me to kind of reiterate anything, drop it in the chat, and as it pops up, I'll go ahead and respond to that. But moving on, earlier I said that note investing is the best kept secret in real estate. But I did not say that that is only half the secret. Okay. The other half of the secret is that you can profit from note deals without doing any deals yourself. Okay. You may be listening to this and saying, this sounds cool, but I don't have the time or I don't have the desire to learn an entirely new strategy and learn how to apply it and do it in a way that I feel secure. And what I'm telling you is that you don't have to. You can profit from note deals using someone else's expertise. Okay. And how does that work? Well, as a note investor, I get opportunities sent to my inbox all the time. Okay. And sometimes there are cases where I see notes that look like a great deal, but I just put my capital into another opportunity. Okay. Or maybe there's one that looks like a great deal, but it requires a little more capital than I have on hand. And so instead of going, oh man, I wish I could have gotten that, I guess I got to let it go by and hope an opportunity comes around again, I think about my network and I say, who could use some passive income? Who do I know that would like to earn some cash on a real estate deal without having to do the work themselves, right? And so I reach out to my network and I say, hey, I have this great opportunity to make an investment, but it requires a little more capital than I have right now. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to partner with me to take down this deal. You wouldn't have to do any work. All you would have to do is put up the capital. And for doing so, I'll pay you every month. Okay. Most of the time I say, yeah, that sounds great. I mean, I don't have to do anything and I get to earn income every month. Let's do it. Right. And so these people are my private lenders. Okay. Private lenders are people with some money to invest. Right. Interested again in hands-off passive income. Maybe they have another, they have a career already, or maybe they're in another lane of real estate, right? And they want to focus on their lane while earning some cash on the side, right? Maybe they want to invest their money for a limited time while they figure out their next big move, right? And they want their money to earn more interest than it would sitting in a savings account or sitting in the market being put at risk, right? Again, want to profit from the expertise of others. And they want secured investments with high returns. And I say this because you can be a private lender on anything. Okay. If your brother calls you and says, hey, I'm building a pool in my backyard. It's going to cost me 20 grand. Will you loan it to me and I'll pay you back? You can say, sure. But if he doesn't pay you back, you can't dig the pool up and take it with you. So secured investments with high returns. That's what private lenders are looking for. And these lenders will have money in a savings account, which if your money is sitting in a standard savings account in a bank that you can just walk in and open up, you're losing money. You're losing money every day because these savings accounts pay less than 1% in interest, while inflation hovers around, 2-3%. And so your money is losing value. And if your money is sitting in a high yield savings account, you may be earning 3 to 5%, which is good, right? But we can do better, right? We can do better and we want to do better. A lot of private lenders have money sitting in a retirement account. So maybe a 401k, a self-directed IRA, right? And we don't want to play with retirement funds. These retirement funds are meant to take care of you as you age, as you leave the workforce, and we don't want to put that money at risk. Most retirement funds are invested in the stock market, and as we've said, there's a lot of risk that goes involved that goes there, right? So you don't want to spend all these years building up a retirement account, building up retirement saving for a catastrophic event to hit the market, and now your account drops, and there's no telling if you have the same amount of time to get your money back to where it was, right? So a lot of people like notes because it adds a level of security to their retirement accounts that's hard to find elsewhere. Okay. Again, stocks, I just kind of touched on that. Life insurance policy, maybe you have, $1 million policy and you want to borrow against it to earn some income, right? Private lenders like to do that as well. And then again, real estate investors, maybe you're a retired landlord. Maybe you're sick of dealing with tenants. Maybe you're a wholesaler or a flipper and you realize, I'm only getting paid once off of each of these deals, right? What I say to a lot of wholesalers and flippers is, hey, if you take half of what you make on a wholesale or flip deal, invest it in a note, then now each deal is going to continue to pay you for years to come. And you do that on your next 5 or 10 deals. And then you decide, I'm ready to take a step back from wholesaling or flipping. You have passive income coming in every month where you don't have to worry about how you're going to eat, right? Because each deal that you've done is still paying you. Okay. So this is where private lenders come from. They can be anyone from anywhere, right? And so what we're going to do now is we're going to apply a private lending example to our case study, right? So this here is Eddie. Eddie's an engineer. He works hard. He makes good money at his job. And Eddie wants to get involved in real estate investing, but he's too busy with work. He just does not have the time to learn an effective strategy, right? So Eddie and I, we built a rapport, all right? And I call him up one day and I say, hey, man, I have a great investment opportunity. We talked about you wanting to get involved in real estate, and I was wondering if you would be willing to partner with me and loan me the capital to go ahead and take down this opportunity, right? And Eddie says, sure. I mean, I have some money saved up in my self-directed IRA account. How much do you need? What can I do? How can I help? All right, and I say, Eddie, well, if you'll loan me $89,000 to go ahead and take down this deal, I will pay you 8%, right, for allowing me to borrow that money. Eddie says, that sounds good. I'm earning 5% in my account right now, so 8 is better than 5. Let's do it. And I say, okay, Eddie, for loaning me that money, you'll get $850 a month for as long as we agree to partner on this opportunity. Right now, remember, our note pays out $10,032 a month, right? So Eddie is receiving the lion's share of the monthly payment every month, right, for helping me take down this opportunity, okay? The next thing I ask Eddie is, well, how long would you like to do this? He says, well, I'm still pretty young. I can't touch this money anyway. It's in my retirement account. Let's ride it out. Let's just ride it out for as long as we can. I say, Eddie, that sounds fantastic. I'm with you. Let's do it. So Eddie receives his $850 a month for the next 15 years, right? That's 180 months because we have a great performing borrower. And at the end of the term, his $89,000 turns into $153,000, okay, within his self-directed retirement account. Now, all the while, he doesn't have to worry because he's receiving those passive monthly payments into his account every month, right? He's getting contractual growth, right? So he knows that every month he's getting $850 a month, right, for the next 15 years. He already knows. He doesn't have to check and see, oh, did my account go up? Did it go down? What's going on? He's not worried about that. He's not worried about market volatility because he's invested in a secure asset, okay, with predetermined conditions, okay? Eddie can feel good because his investment helps provide a family housing. How does that work, right? When people borrow money to do a mortgage, right, and they pay this loan down, they build equity in the home, okay? Building equity is how families build wealth, okay? Ideally, they pay the loan off in full, they own the property free and clear. Now they have a valuable piece of real estate that they can use to continue to grow their wealth, all right? So we can feel good about knowing, hey, by holding on to this mortgage, by taking in these monthly payments, by working with these borrowers on a more personal level, we are helping people achieve the next steps to secure the futures of their families, right? And then again, in the event that they are not able to keep up, Eddie knows that he has valuable collateral in this property to know that, hey, if this note goes south, if these payments stop coming in, we have this property here that we can take back and sell to still earn income on his investment, right? So Eddie feels very comfortable, very confident in being a private lender on a mortgage note. Maybe he comes back and says, hey, I've got some more money in my account. The first one went really well. Can we do any more of these? To which, of course, I would say, absolutely. All right, let's do it. So I say all that to say, I like to create these opportunities and share them with other people. Again, as I said in the beginning, there's no point in being able to earn passive income and knowing how to apply this skill if I cannot share this opportunity with anyone who can use it, because we can all use more freedom, we can all use more time, we can all use more money, okay? And I feel the responsibility to share that with you all. So always on the hunt for good deals. Can I give you a call when I find one, right? Let's go ahead and build wealth together, because it's time. It's time to live life on our own terms. It is time to do the things that we've always envisioned. It is time to make sure that we are secure, that our families are taken care of, and that we have the ability to do what we want with our valuable time that we cannot get back, because we all deserve more freedom. And mortgage note investing, in my opinion, is the best way to accomplish that. Okay? So with that being said, I just want to say thank you for taking the time on a Sunday evening to tune in with me to learn a little bit about mortgage note investing. I do have some free ebooks in the description, so you can go ahead and go down there, download your free ebooks, and they will kind of expand on what we discussed today. All right. If you have any questions or you want to schedule a call, please visit note-genius.com or email me, brian@note-genius.com. Please follow me on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do interviews with other note investors. I do tips, clips. I'll be posting vlogs. I want this to be as authentic as possible, right? So when I win, I want to share the wins. When I lose, I want to share you the losses. I want to show you my analysis process. So please go ahead and subscribe to the channels to learn more about note investing, right? Other than that, again, thank you. I appreciate your time. I hope that you have a great rest of your Sunday evening and that tomorrow is a fantastic start to a productive week. And I hope to hear from some of you soon. All right. Thank you again and have a good night.